Hey, how's everyone doing? Happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? Hey, thank you all for being here on this Saturday. I've been out for a couple of Saturdays. I was traveling last week. Was it last week? I don't know. It wasn't this week, but it was last week. Hey, thanks for the sub. We'll definitely get into that here in a second. But yeah, so I was traveling last week and I just happened to leave on Saturday and get back on Saturday. So that day I was actually traveling. So I know a lot of you were trolling me and saying, you don't go anywhere. Well, normally I don't, but I did take a trip back to my hometown and home state. So I was out of office, if this is my office. So I do apologize. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I streamed. I missed the last two. Not normal at all. So anyways, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It's a little bit different than what I do everywhere else, I guess I would say. Different than YouTube, different than Twitter, different than anywhere. And it's kind of a laid-back stream where we talk about things we're excited about, things we're working on, things we're struggling with, things we'd like to see, all related to tech. So just kind of just a time to geek out on nerdy tech stuff. So that's what we'll be doing today. We'll be going for about an hour. I started late today. I'll end a little bit late, but we'll be going roughly an hour, so you guys don't have to, spend your whole day with me. Even though I would love you to, but we all got things to do. So, anyways, we'll keep it on time and on topic, hopefully. If you're not new here, if you're returning, hey, thank you so much. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate you, and I appreciate that you're here on this Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, and this fine Saturday, I'll talk about the weather. The weather here in Minneapolis is it's pretty awesome. My kind of day. It was warm and cloudy, and now it just cooled off. So cool, cloudy, rain coming. It says in 18 minutes it's going to stop raining. But raining here today. We just had a cool front come in, and I was outside for it, like working on stuff in the yard, and all of a sudden this cool breeze came, and I was like, yeah, this is my kind of day. My kind of day. So hopefully you're having good weather in your neck of the woods. It's been hot here lately, though, like hotter than normal. Like it feels like the end of summer and it's the beginning of summer. So anyways, hope the weather is nice where you're at. And yeah, so again, like if you wanna talk about something, let's throw it in the chat and we'll talk through it. So outside of traveling, so what have I been working on? I've been working on quite a bit. I've been working on this idea of having this mobile home lab. And I don't know whether to call it a mobile lab or a mobile home lab. I kind of like mobile home lab, but this idea where I can take what I'm working on with me if I need to. And I had this idea years ago. I've always been traveling with a router. And that router is very old, but it still works. It works great. And the reason why I bring a router with me is so that I can attach all of my devices to that router and not have to depend on, this shared kind of public Wi-Fi or this network that I don't trust. And so I just put up a router, connect it to their modem or their router wirelessly, and then serve it back out. And that just creates a firewall, basically a firewall. That no one can get into if there are other devices on there. So think like if you go to Airbnb, who knows what devices are on there, public Wi-Fi, all that stuff. And so I've done that for many, many years. One, because it's a little bit safer, and two, because I don't have to like go and set up all of my devices that I bring with the new Wi-Fi network. It's a known one, so they all just connect to it automatically. So it's been evolving over time, and I'll have something out soon. I don't want to give too much away, but it's been evolving quite a bit. And when I travel, I seem to bring a little, more and more devices for more and more purposes. So anyways, it's been evolving. This has been like a huge project for me because it not only involves hardware, software, it involved actually traveling. I was setting up this for that my trip last week and for future trips. So it's been one of the most complicated things I've done, and I'll have to try to break down and explain. So I'm working on that anyways. So hopefully you're interested in that, and it doesn't have to necessarily be for travel. It could be for home too. Same idea, same rules apply, but pretty cool stuff. I'm excited about it. So anyways, that's what I've been working on. What have you been working on? Throw it in the chat and we'll talk about it. Just gonna take it easy, take it slow today. So first up, let's see who was in the chat here first. Hopefully I had chat open in time I kind of think I did, but it looks like who was here first? Let me see. It looks like Jenna Ryan. Jenna Ryan was first. As long as this hype train thing isn't covering up some text, which I think it is, I apologize, but it looks like Jenna Ryan. How's it going? Good to see you. And then we had lots of events that fired off like right when I started and a little bit before. So let's go through those really quick. Let's see right here. Mikosaurus, Robert Tash, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yakto, Resub, Prime, 10 months, 8 month streak. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yakto, man, 8 months, or 10 months. How's it going, man? Good to see you. PC Geek, Resub, holy cow, 33 months. Dang, tier 1, 33 months. Man, that is quite some time. That's almost 3 years, man. Appreciate it. And I did update sub badges. You'd mentioned it yesterday, and I realized that I've unlocked a ton of sub badges since. So you should see those. Those should appear. If they don't appear right away, just refresh them. But I did them all this morning because I realized I only had like months 1 through 9. And so I got all the way caught up to 6 years or something like that. Twitch does it kind of oddly, but they unlock badges as you go. The longer you're subbed, the higher the badge you get. And since I'm subbed to my own channel, it gave me lots of things to do this morning. So that's what I've been working on. But holy cow, 33 months. Glad to see you had a nice vacation and you are back. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to take a vacation, but at the same time, I feel like I have to get caught up on so much. Not that I didn't work a little bit on my vacation, but I feel like I need to get caught up quite a bit. When I take a vacation, one, it's rare. But two, when I take a vacation, I'm like taking a vacation, I feel like, from 2 jobs, from my daytime job and then my nighttime job, which is this. And it's a lot. It's a lot to try to catch up for both. And honestly, catching up to my nighttime job, my YouTube job is harder to catch up to than work stuff. So anyways, I'll get over that. Jenna Ryan is resub tier 1, 31 months. Thank you. Takano, resub, Prime, 31 months. Thank you so much. 31 months, starting to set up some real link cameras. Any NVR or general advice, Cap? So a couple of things. I don't know if real links have an RTSP stream you can tap into. But anyways, I don't know how you're setting this up. If you're going to use their software, you're going to use a self-hosted software. If you are going to use, their software, yeah, go for it. I don't know much about it. I know that Radal has done some videos on it. He's a fan of real link cameras. If not, if you're going to go self-hosted route, there's Frigate, which is out there, which is an open source. It's even containerized. It's NVR, totally open source and free. And so if you are going the self-hosted route, I would recommend checking that out. Runs on Linux, runs in a container. Open source, free, great. You can do object detection if you bolt on some kind of ML processor or AI processor like a Coral or even a GPU or anything like that. You can offload it off that device too. So pretty cool. And then there's always the favorite. If you're going Windows, you're going closed source and page. You're probably going to go with Blue Iris. But those are all good options. So, but yeah, Takano, thank you so much. Alk Ferris, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. CBN Sandwich, how's it going? Resub, tier 1, 12 month streak. Hey, missed y'all last couple weeks. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for noticing. Seagore, Resub Prime, 28 months. Thank you so much. 28 months. Let's go. Ilude, Resub, tier 1, 33 months. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. How's it going, Ilude? Almost 3 years. Omerk 20, Resub Prime, 5 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kev M92. Wow, lots of activity, and thank you so much for the hype train. I wired up an alert and I realized it was overlaying over my other alert, so I fixed that real quick. Maybe not here though. I'll have to fix it later. But let's see. Kev M92, happy you're back. What will the next vid be on your YouTube channel? On the topic of mobile home lab, could you do more vids on small form factor PCs, servers for home labs? Yeah, absolutely. Yes to all the things. So that's exactly right. The next video I am working on is my mobile home lab, mobile space home lab, or mobile home space lab. I don't know. But that's what I'm working on. It's so complicated. I have to figure out an easy way to kind of talk about it in 10 to 12 minutes. So that sounds like a lot of time, but it's not when you start bringing in products and systems and processes and how you kind of tie that all together in the story. And I'm not the greatest storyteller, so I tend to talk too much about things, and I have a hard time cutting down my stories. So I need to work on it. But anyways, yeah, that'll be it. And that will fall into that category of small form factor PCs as servers for home labs. And yeah, I mean, I'm always going to mix in some kind of low power device with my stuff too. I know that not everyone can have server racks. And, I want to be inclusive. I've always done that with either Pi's or Intel NUCs going back in the day. And there's just this whole new breath of fresh air with all these small, low-power devices that are highly capable, that are super cheap and low on the power bill. So yeah, I'll always mix something in like that. So I got some stuff coming, lots of stuff in the backlog, and hopefully a little bit more time for the backlog coming up. But maybe I'll talk about that some other time. Scribbled Lines has subbed, Prime sub. Thank you so much. Thanks for spending your Prime sub on me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Bing Chillings, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Okay, so man, thank you guys. That was a lot to read. Thank you so much. Now I know why the hype train went off. So thank you. I appreciate it. So let's get into chat and let's talk about what you guys are working on, what you're excited about, and what you're interested in. Throw it in the chat, and I'll try to get to it. And I will definitely try to keep up with chat too. I know that sometimes it's a lot, and I think I'm getting better at getting caught up. So. Let's see. General Ryan, banana, my banana, not banana. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Hello. My brain always interprets that as not banana. Mine does too. So you must be. I mean, I know you're doing a ton of infrastructure, but that's a coding thing. The bang banana. Would mean not banana, the opposite of banana for sure. So I go there too. With all of the bang commands, I think not. It's the opposite of. Dady says, hi, how's it going? Little cousin, Twitch told me to hop in and say hi. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for saying hi. Thanks for doing all the things. I appreciate it. Hey, Kevin. Wow, thank you so much. 100 bits. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I had my alerts turned down just because sometimes it can annoy you guys later on or even now. So I haven't turned down. I'll try to pay attention to them. But Kevin says, would also watch a 60-minute Techno Tim video. Thanks. I actually have one that's almost 60 minutes. It's my network UPS tools, like the ultimate guide. It took that long to talk through it. And I'm not afraid of talking for 60 minutes. It does make for a very long video to sit through or sleep through, as well as make for a very long video to edit. So, but then arguably some of my 8-minute videos take me, hours and hours and hours to edit. So anyways, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I wish I had a way to focus on the alert in this tool that I use. But anyways, little cousin, so hi. So thank you. Thanks for hopping in and saying hi. Hi. Lots of highs. Let's see. Almost there. All right. Dog's going crazy. So let's see. So hello. De-sabotage. Sorry, I left my door open and dog was going crazy. De-sabotage. If you say nice to a female IT person, would it be a compliment or rude? Yeah. I'm not going to touch that one, but I think it would be rude because you would be insinuating something. And then, like, depending on the person took it, you would then be saying you weren't insinuating something when you were to begin with. Just like asking that question. That's a trap. That is a trap. Techno Tim, hey. Let's see. So, PC Geek, what are you working on? Video games and Discord bots. Yeah, I would love to get back to video games and Discord bots for sure. Sounds awesome. What games? I know what you're doing with Discord bots, because I think I've been helping you a little bit with stuff, but sounds like a good day for sure. Working on those two. De-sabotage, laying in bed doing the opposite of work. Hey, that's fine too. That is fine with me. Fine with anyone. That was kind of what I did for a little bit this morning. I actually slept in. Something hit me last night, and I was like, "Oh, I went to bed at kind of normal time, and I got up, and I was like, nope, go let the dogs out, and went back to bed. I was tired, so." If you can't tell by my voice, when you hear it like this, when it's low, it usually means I'm tired. So that's what's going on now with my voice. Not sick. But laying in bed and doing the opposite work, totally fine. Totally fine. I kind of wish I was sometime. I'm actually standing up, and this is actually my work, so I envy you sometimes. So let's see. Takano. Speaking of racks, this following week might take a shot at taking it apart and cleaning it up. Yeah, I hear you. They can get dusty quick, especially if you have carpet, pets, or both, or like or fans running, which you obviously do because it's a server rack and it needs to displace that heat. So, yeah, it can really quick. Yeah, my advice is put it somewhere where there isn't carpet, there isn't pets, and you know this. Use pre-filters on some of your stuff. I know that, and this is probably what you're cleaning out. I remember you were putting a lot of like pre-filters in front of your fans to catch, the big stuff. Before it went through your server, which is a great idea. I should do that. I think you were using something similar to like lint. I don't know. It looked like fabric softener sheets, which would also smell really good in my server room. I should probably do that. It will definitely increase the fan speed and hopefully not burn them up. But I remember seeing a picture of that. So yeah, maybe I'll get some Downy dryer sheets and put them kind of in front of my server rack so I can pull that in and blow that air through. It smell good. Actually, ours is by our washer and dryer anyway, so it kind of smells like that down there anyway. So, let's see. Thug Muffin. DN42 Global Network targeting 40 pops full of automation with Ansible and Vios. Okay. I don't know what DN42 is. I think that's a DN42. Is it a DNS provider? I think so. I think it. Maybe. But awesome. Targeting 40 POPs. I don't know what POPs are either. Power over power. I'm making this stuff up. But pretty awesome. So automation with Ansible and Vios, I get that. Awesome. I'd love to check out Vios again at some point in time. I did in the past. I heard they're working on a UI for it. Not that I really need a UI, but sometimes it's kind of nice to have a UI for stuff like your firewall and stuff like that. I don't know if they're still making one or still working on one or it's still being talked about. But I remember that being the thing. So anyways, awesome. That sounds like a pretty intense day. Hopefully you find that fun because that's what Saturdays are for. Takano, I've let it become a mess of wires everywhere. Okay, you were just talking about wires. I thought maybe you were talking about dust when you said cleaning, but you're talking about wires and more organizing. Awesome. Yeah, mine's kind of getting a mess too. It happens. Like I have this great wire, I had this great plan to keep all of my wires, nice and I don't know, kept up and organized. But once I brought in the Pi KVM and 4 machines and HDMI for each and USB cables for each, and then swapping out my 2 USB KVMs, it got kind of crazy. And so I'm still in between Pi KVM 3. I just got a Pi KVM 4 shipped to me. And then I'm still using the EasyCube because it works with 3. I'm hoping that my TE Smart Switch will work with 4. Need to test that. So if that works with 4, I can clean up a lot of wires. Anyways, I guess my point is cleaning up wires will go a long way. And it'll save a lot of frustration in the future. And possibly some outages, because who knows? Like I'm a fan of unplugging things that shouldn't be unplugged, either on purpose or not on purpose, or by accident. But yeah, organizing that will go a long way for for your mental health and maybe the stability of your stuff, for sure. But that happens when you add stuff. It always happens when I add stuff. It happens when I take away too. I think taking away items out of your rack might be worse than adding. Because like you have all your cords bound up together in this perfect, organized cable management tray or rack, and then it just goes crazy from there. And I even found a great way to solve that. I'll bind everything, bind it all up with Velcro ties, and then like the minute I have to take something away, I have to undo all of that. So maybe I'm probably doing it wrong. You guys have better ideas than I do on that. Yakto, adding S3 Swift compatible RGW front end to Ceph. Let me break this down. So I get it. So you're adding S3, so object storage, Swift compatible. Do you mean Swift like the programming language? So iOS, Maybe, maybe not. RGW, no idea what RGW is. I was going to say RGB, but in a typo, and I get it, front end. So, okay, so obviously a UI that supports S3 and maybe written in Swift, maybe mobile to Ceph. Sounds awesome. I haven't done a ton of stuff in Ceph, but yeah, that sounds awesome. Anytime you can visualize something that's very complex, it's super helpful, at least for me. At least when you're learning something initially, I'm a huge fan of UIs, and I'm a huge fan of UIs in general, just for visualizing stuff, especially stuff like metrics or storage or anything that's especially metrics, anything that that is more visual than querying a whole bunch of stuff through a CLI and then trying to put that all together. So, yeah, sounds awesome. You should let me know more about this. Let's see. Bill Mayer. Hi from Germany. Hello from the United States. How's it going? Good to see you. Let's see. PC Geek. I set up Ansible Semaphore the other day with my K3S cluster. Awesome. Might tinker with it some more and run my server updates using playbooks. Awesome. Yeah, I saw Christian released a video on that. Pretty awesome. Ansible Semaphore. I've seen it. That project. I haven't tried it out yet, but I think I might. I think I might try it out. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Because there's also the AWX tower. Another UI for Ansible. And scheduling. I say more than UI because it can do more than a UI can do. It's not just to really just drive Ansible, but also schedule Ansible. And so that's something I would like to do at some point is schedule a lot of my stuff. Because right now they're all manual tasks and I run them in order. And most of the time the ones that I run are updating or provisioning new machines. Would be cool to just kick that off in a UI. So pretty awesome. But yeah, awesome. You'll have to let me know. Yeah, you had mentioned too you were going to set this up with my K3S playbook, which is blowing my mind. So you would basically be driving that from a UI to kick off a new cluster. Sounds exactly what I need to do for my testing. Anytime I have a pull request or something, I could actually test it on a real cluster versus testing it with a testing framework like Molecule. But pretty cool. Pretty awesome. I like it. Especially if I could point it to a branch or point it to a commit hash to tell it to git check out first. That would be sweet. Because then every time I would kick it off every time. I would just have a webhook that would do it and kick it off in my own infrastructure against my better judgment. Against my better judgment of letting public workloads run in my private clusters. So. But it sounds awesome. Let's see. Lumicode, fighting the dark paths of IRR filtering to automate my BGP prefix list. Okay, BGP. I need to get schooled on this. I need to get it that it's a networking protocol. I don't know enough about it, especially what IRR filtering is. IRR. I need to look into this, but. Wow, that sounds way over my head. That sounds like a lot of work for a Saturday for me, but it sounds like, you're a networking person and you understand this and enjoy it. So it sounds like a good day for you. It sounds like for me, I would be doing a ton of reading and researching before I even got into understanding what that is. So, but Lumicode, awesome. That sounds fun. I hope you enjoy working on BGP this Saturday. Ooh, that would be for me. That'd be work. For you, that sounds fun. For me, that'd be a lot of work. Oh, yeah, here we go. Othug Muffin. Woo, BGP. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Woo. I don't know if that was a woo for good or ooh-wee BGP, because for me, it's more of an ooh-wee. But yeah, let's see. PC Geek, lunch is here. Be right back. Oh, man, enjoy lunch. Oh, you mean supper. Okay, supper. Oh, you say supper. All right. Dinner, supper. I got it. Yes, IRR filtering is tough sometimes. I would tend to agree because I have no idea what it is. But that, yeah, you have to school me. I might have questions in Discord later, or I might be Googling lots of stuff to figure out what it means. But I can't play this card forever. That I'm just like, I put BGP in this black box, and I'm like, yeah, maybe one day I'll look into it. I should look into it sooner than later, so then at least I'm a little bit more educated about what it is and how it's used. I kind of understand how it's used, but not how I would use it personally. Let's see. I need to move this just a tiny bit. We're on Ferris. Howdy, Tim. First time here. Hey, AKL Ferris. Hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. What's up? What are you working on today? Let me know. Throw it in chat. Let me code. The Last Supper. Yeah, totally. Chicano, feel free to join the Discord. Thank you. Thanks. That's exactly what I was saying too. So thank you so much. That was Chicano. Thank you, sir. Oh, there are buttons here where I want to change what this looks like to me, but I'm not going to touch it. I'm fighting it. Datey. Hey, Tim. How do you rebound from a failed project? Yeah, good question. Good question. That's tough. It feels like the longer or the bigger the project is, the harder it is to kind of get over or bounce back from. So it really depends on the size of the project. My recommendation is there are two things. It depends on how you relax or unwind or not think about it. Is one, do something totally different. And I mean like totally different. If it's an IT project and it failed and whatever and it just happened, do something totally different. Fill your time with something that you get enjoyment out of. That could be, and I mean way different, like going for walks. If you have dogs, walking them. If you do any kind of sports, do that. If you are into fitness, do that. Like do something that you can totally disconnect on and you can totally reflect on while you're doing that. I feel that like when I go and walk, I reflect on a lot of things that either happened that day, happened the day before, or what I'm working on. And a lot of times I talk myself out of being down or talk myself up and try to focus on the things that went well or how I can make them better in the future. If that's not your thing and you still want to do something different, you could do similar to me. Sometimes I do something else in tech. Yeah, like this. I'm a software engineer by day. I write a lot of code. I manage a lot of infrastructure. But, doing things that are creative, like chatting right now or doing things on YouTube or creating videos or documentation, I feel like that is a way that I unwind too from my day job. And then there's something that, could apply anywhere. It's just get a quick win. Do something that you can succeed in doing and get a quick win in, because that'll make you feel better too. So, I mean, there's so many ways. It depends on the size of the project and how hard it failed. But I think a combination of those things will hopefully put you on the right track. And, and then learn from how it failed. I mean, failures aren't always bad. There's always some good in failures. That's how you learn to not do that again, or that's how you learn to correct something, or that's how you learn how to prevent the failure the next time. So, treat those like opportunities too, and not just all, pitfalls. So I don't know. That's kind of what I do. And, working on software, like really opened up my eyes to like that failure is okay. It's kind of, what Elon says, and a lot of people that are in software do engineering, that failure is a good thing. Not always good, but there are some good things that can come out of failure. And for me, writing code all day, I write a lot of code that fails all day, tons. I mean, all the time, but that helps me learn what to do, helps me write tests if I need to. And it helps me think about edge cases, because when I write code, if I always write code for the happy path, the success way, and nothing ever fails, I might not think of the unhappy path or the failure or the catch or the, if you're writing a try catch or promises, you're catching something, the error that's going to happen. And so I just treat, failures in general throughout my day as just part of life. And, it's how you react to them. Same as in code. You catch that failure, you do something with the failure, you let the user know, or you try something else. The same, I think, applies to, projects at scale too. So I don't know. I could talk about that a lot though, but I just don't be so hard on yourself. I think that it boils down to that. G'day. Hey, continuing to work on my Ansible AWX journey. Such a time saver. Exactly what I was just talking about. Ansible AWX or Tower. I feel like at some point I wanted to try that too. Like Semaphore looks super awesome. So I'm like totally like torn, because AWX is out there too. And so, yeah, you'll have to let me know how it is. Like I keep going back to their documentation thinking, yeah, today's the day I'm actually going to break this down and get this going. And then there's very little to no documentation. So I'm kind of like, the README is basically like a super generic README, and there isn't like, a great starter, there isn't great documentation to get started. So, and I think, I think the fact that it is the open source version of Tower, something that, Red Hat already uses is promising too. But yeah, it seems super complicated, and I have no idea. Every time I think I'm going to get started, I don't. So that's kind of where I guess I come in is try the project, find the pitfalls, write the documentation, and make it consumable. That's usually that's pretty much my career on YouTube so far. So maybe this is a good fit for me, and I'm just kicking that can down the road. So. But yeah, I definitely got to check it out someday. But G'day, you got to let me know, where the dragons are, and where the landmines are, because I don't want to step on them. Optimus Gray, need help with my RFID door locks. Ooh, this is sounding interesting. Locks are going to be for HOA pools, so they have to be weatherproof, and no one will be watching them 24/7, so hack-proof. Any ideas of where to start? Oh no. So I'm semi-familiar with this, and not all of the ones that I've seen are RFID, so that one's tough. Like the ones that I've seen are your typical consumer ones, right? They're gonna be your Schlage and all the consumer ones that are Wi-Fi based, that are Wi-Fi or fall back to Bluetooth or fall back to a pin based, and are driven by apps and automation. RFID one is tough. I haven't done a ton of stuff like that at all. And if I go to think of ones I know with RFID, I automatically think Unify, because that's one of the few systems that I know that I'm even semi-familiar with that supports RFID. So I wish I could help you there. I'm sure there are people here in chat or here in Discord that might have other recommendations, but it looks like you're trying to solve this for more than just your house. You're trying to solve this for your HOA, I guess, and trying to solve it for more people. And I assume you want it centrally managed or a way to centrally manage this stuff. So that's tough. I wish I had an answer for you. I'm trying to think if anyone that I know that there's Crosstalk Solutions, and there's, Mac Telecom Networks, and, there's also, all the networking folks that are out there, Tom, Lawrence. But they might be focusing on some of the same products too, rather than like physical security for a door with RFID. So, I wish I had an answer for you. But I'm sure there are people. We have a IoT and an automation. We have a lot of channels in Discord. You should totally throw it in there, because I'm sure a lot of eyes will see it, and I'm sure there are more people there than are on right now. But okay. Oh, redeeming. I thought I filtered those out. Okay. Kilnai, hi. Oh, is it like Bill Nye, but Kill Nye? I like it. Static Carson, I have a question. I'm 13 years old, and I have a Dell Optiplex running Proxmox with plenty of different VMs running. I just wanted to know what you thought about me doing stuff like this at such a young age. Sounds awesome. I can vaguely remember what I was doing at 13. I was probably playing, Nintendo 64 or Super Nintendo, one of those in between. Wishing I had a computer and not knowing what to do with one if I had one. So, so I think that's pretty awesome, pretty advanced. I'm curious too, like who's inspiring you or helping you? Is your father or friends? That's pretty awesome. But yeah, Static Carson, that is awesome. I think that's awesome. At 13, I can't imagine what you're going to be doing at 23, at 33, if you're doing this at 13. So pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool stuff. I wish when I was 13 that tech was around so that I could be doing similar stuff. So yeah, pretty awesome. That's all I have to say. Good luck. I think you're off to a good start. If you're interested in this type of stuff, there's a career out there for you for sure. Because people in IT and tech and everywhere are needed, So awesome. Yeah. Congratulations, man. 13-year-old Proxmox. Oh, geez. Like I said, I was probably playing video games at 13. Riding my bike. But that is awesome. Let's see. Brockhard. Working on using FluentD. Awesome. To forward logs to Loki. And then Grafana and storing logs in Minio. Been kind of fun learning everything. Been working on centralized logging system for work, and I've been learning a lot. That is awesome. So let's break this down. So using FluentD, which is it can be a sidecar container that you run on your containers to scrape logs from standard out or standard air. And then you're using, then you forward them to Loki and Grafana and storing them in Minio, which is object storage. So cool, so cool. So I use FluentD at work with the cloud. I don't, and it's kind of free. You just turn it on and you get it, because obviously cloud providers want to store your logs and charge you for it. But then at home, I don't use FluentD, and I would like to, but I use Promtail to scrape logs off of the containers to then to get standard out and standard air, all the standards piped into Promtail and Loki. So pretty cool. Yeah, I should check out FluentD sometime. I've used it for years, but it's one of those things like I've never had to configure or never had to think about, because it's always just there, and it's come with cloud stuff that I've done at work. I've never had to configure it myself like I have for Promtail and Loki and stuff. So pretty cool. That sounds pretty fun. I'd like to do some more of FluentD. I'm sure it's super flexible for sure. Yakto, Static Carson, nice to see someone at so young, showing such a strong interest. Yeah, for sure. I agree too, Yakto. Yeah, well said. I agree too. Let's see. G'day. Also cleaned up some scripts. GitLab is pushing me to clean up a lot. GitLab has forced me to learn WSL with Ansible. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So cleaned up some scripts. GitLab is pushing me to clean up a lot. GitLab has also forced me to learn WSL with Ansible. So I think you mean, if I'm interpreting this right, like switching to Git as a provider to hold your source code is forcing you to do a lot of stuff you didn't do before, like clean up stuff. Yeah, that is awesome. I thought you meant like GitLab itself is imposing some more restrictions around free accounts, which they have been. And I was like, yeah, I've been there. I'm kind of going through that too. But no, that's awesome. I think anytime you can source control anything in general, it's good. It's good. Why is that good? Why do I think that's good? Well, one, you save it, obviously. Two, you get history. Three, you can share easily if you want. If you want someone to review another feature of having source control, you can have someone review your code. You can merge it. You can do all kinds of things. And then mostly too, on top of all of that, then you can enable automation, which is pretty cool. So yeah, absolutely, for sure. I think it's awesome. Static Carson, yeah, thanks. Let's see, Chicano. Hey, I'm 18 now, but I started off the same as you. Now pursuing a degree in networks and system administration, been focusing on Linux. Keep at it, man. Yeah, Chicano, I remember when you came in, came out swinging in my channel. You're like, I'm 15 and I'm doing all this stuff. I was like, whoa, and it's crazy. You're 18 now. Man, you're growing up. You're growing up, man. I can't believe you're 18 now, but yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah, Takano, he's following in your footsteps, because I remember you were youngin'. You're still a youngin' now, even though you're 18. But you were definitely young when you came into the channel. I was like, man, he is doing all of this at 15? Like, I can remember what I was doing at 15. Not a whole lot. Probably playing video games, probably, and riding my bike. Bill Mayer, what do you think about building HA Kubernetes cluster using TrueNAS Scale? I understand that it uses K3S. So Bill, good question. So it does use K3S under the covers. It uses that to run containers, run workloads. I haven't found a great way to actually, run a real cluster. Under the covers, it's running a single node cluster, right? Single node, K3S, Kubernetes, and then they're using Docker as their runtime. And that's kind of their way of running. I think they're doing that so they can say they support Docker and Kubernetes. So anyways, long story short, I don't know if it can actually scale. I should probably know this, but last time I checked, I couldn't run, a cluster of more than one node and actually have it being HA. And I thought that was part of scale. I don't know if they built that part out yet. Should reinvestigate that a little bit. But the last time I checked, it was like, nope, you run TrueNAS Scale, and it runs a cluster of just one, and I'm talking about if you're using the K3S on top of Scale. And I'm not talking about like creating virtual machines and then creating, K3S virtual machines and then creating your own cluster. Obviously, you could do that. if you use their hypervisor, but I'm talking about like on platform, on bare metal, using their service to actually create the K3S single node. So anyways, yeah, so I don't know. I should look into it. I haven't looked into a lot of their scale promise in general, like scaling out scale itself. I would assume that scaling out scale would also mean scaling out that Kubernetes cluster, but yeah, I don't know if they're going to get into that. We'll see, because that takes some work. That takes some work. How would you join the extra node to the existing nodes? You know, all that stuff you have to do with K3S. So if they figured that out, I think they got something going for them, because yeah, you could then scale out scale and at the same time scale out your services, and it would be pretty awesome. So it's been a while since I looked at scale, and I don't know if they support that feature. They should. I thought that was kind of the promise, not only scaling out scale, but scaling out everything else. That's a lot of scaling going on. Chicano, you never know where it will take you. I totally agree. G'day. Tim, you're in a T. I'm wearing a jumper. Minutes 1 degree here in Oz. Yeah, I'm in a T. You're in a jumper. Okay. Bill Chillings. The Batmobile Lab. I like that. The Batmobile Lab. I like it. I like it instead of the mobile home lab. I like it. The Batmobile Lab. DGD, Gab Gobi, hopefully I got that right. Nice to see you again. Finally got through setting up my PKI with StepCA. Awesome. So you're running your own cert authority. I love how everything turned out. I'm now struggling with K3S, especially persistent storage, because everything stops working as soon as I give it a persistent volume claim with Longhorn. But I'll revisit your video for that. For now, the most important thing is figuring out how to properly set up LDAP server, thinking about open DJ for centralized account management. Yeah, so awesome. Oh, real quick, I gotta get caught up. Archimedes A3000 resub tier 1 6 month streak. Thank you so much, Archimedes. Thank you. So DGD, awesome. A lot of projects going on there. You set up your own certification authority. So cert authority with StepCA. Haven't done that, but it sounds awesome. But K3S and Longhorn should be, I would think, relatively easy. And I say that because I've done it a million times, but a lot easier than setting up a lot of other things. But yeah, that's tough. That's tough because it should just work. You typically just install Longhorn, then you create a persistent volume claim. They can either be done dynamically or statically. Out of the box, it's going to be dynamically, which means if you create a workload that needs a persistent volume claim, it will request one from you as the storage class. The other thing is, if you are using K3S, so now that you mention that, the only thing I can think of is most times, if you install a second storage class on K3S, it keeps defaulting back to the local storage class as the default storage class, and somehow you can have multiple default storage classes, which is like, that's totally a bug. You shouldn't have multiple defaults. So that could be it too. So my recommendation is to use the flag to turn off the local storage provisioner for your storage class. Just get rid of it, because if you just disable it, the next time the K3S service restarts, it's going to enable it again because of how K3S works, because they put all their manifests in this folder and it reads them every time it starts up. So I would disable the local storage provisioner and then install Longhorn and make it the default. And then if it's the only one and it's the default, there's no way that anything else could be the default. So try that. That might work. But then, yeah, Open LDAP. Yeah, it sounds awesome. I need some Open LDAP in my life at some point, I feel like. I feel like for sure. Indirect Alex. I'm working on Moodle. At first, I thought it was a model. I was like, oh, sweet, building a model. Moodle, LOL. I don't know what Moodle is. I should know what Moodle is, but hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's bad. We'll enjoy it. Enjoy it for sure. G'day. Question: is it a good idea to store Unify backups in GitLab? Bad idea. Yeah, this one's tough. So, I don't store any secrets in GitLab. I don't store any secrets. One secret might be, like you said, your backup of Unify. So I don't use a source control provider as a way to just back up binaries or back up exports that have secret information in them. I don't at all. If I do, so there's a caveat. If I do, I encrypt them first. So I'll encrypt them first and then upload them. Or I'll mask my secrets, like for Kubernetes or for Docker, my .envs. I will mask those with encrypted values and then upload them. And so if you have done that, is it the end of the world? No. Should you do it? Probably not. I wouldn't unless it's encrypted. And so you can encrypt them many different ways, but then don't put your encryption key in Git either. So you want to separate those two. So that's kind of the way I go. If I'm going to use, YAML with secrets in it, I will encrypt those secrets first. I have a tutorial on how to do that with SOPs, but you're probably not using YAML. Then if you're doing like JSON files, which I assume this backup is, or archives that have sensitive information in it, I would encrypt those first before uploading them there. I would. And then, when you pull it down, you would have to decrypt it and look at it to use it, and then use a pretty strong encryption key. So I wouldn't, personally. I wouldn't. Anything secret, I wouldn't. Even if your repo is probably private, which it is. But that doesn't mean that it will, if GitLab hasn't happened to my knowledge, but if something happens to GitLab or something happens to even your machine that you're on right now, if somebody stole that machine, or if you go and clone that somewhere else and then that machine gets stolen, that the file's unencrypted on disk and then people can get to it that way. So I never put any secrets. I have before. I'm not going to lie. I used to. I thought, it's private. Like no one can get in here but me. And then I started thinking of, well, what if my machine gets stolen? Or what if I cloned it on another machine and that machine gets stolen? Or what if during CI, when it runs, it actually clones and somehow someone hijacked CI and got in there and got that local clone of that? And then I was like, a little freaked out, and I thought, well, enough of that. I encrypt everything now. And so if you accidentally committed that file, it's not the end of the world. But I would probably, if you're strong with Git, you should be able to look at it. You can Google this. I would definitely Google it. But you want to go back and replay your commits and delete that file and then replay all your commits. So you get rid of them. Because if you just delete the file and commit that and push it up, that file's still in your history. So you have to run a command to go back in all of your commits, look for that file, delete them, and then recommit and push them up. So yeah, I've done that too. But it wasn't because of a secret. It was because like someone committed like a 300 megabyte file to one of our repos once. And we're like, what the heck? Why is this taking so long to clone? And we realized somebody like committed a video to our Git repo. And we're like, oh man, we missed this for months. So we had to go back and figure it out. And there's a command you could find, and it went back in time. It's very dangerous though. I would recommend keeping a copy of your local Git cloned repo somewhere else while you do this. But you can go back in time, delete that file from every commit, replay all your commits, push them up, and you should be back as if no one ever committed that file. But it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. So keep a copy of that. But yeah, don't put secrets in Git. Even if it's yours, even if it's self-hosted, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't. I would separate the two. Keep your code and infrastructure, in source control. Keep your secrets somewhere else, and then at least people would need to hack two things to get to the one thing that they really want. So let's see. Question. Wonder where I can get intranet mailbox. Intranet mailbox. So you mean internal on your network? You can just spin one up, I assume. I would assume, unless you mean internet. But if you need intranet, I would assume it's been a while since I even heard the word intranet. You can tell I haven't been in corporate stuff for a while. But I mean, that's just an internally hosted mailbox. I mean, obviously, then you would have to have an MX record if you wanted to send anything publicly, which it doesn't sound like by the qualifier of intranet. But yeah, there are lots of mail services that you can run internally. You just have to use some DNS and some self-signed certs or certificates and run it that way. But yeah, lots of services you can use. The intranet piece is throwing me off though. But yeah. Let's see, Bill. DGD, OpenDJ is really scalable and high-performance solution. I got to look at it. For sure because it's sounding awesome. Brock Hard, I'd like to make a notification API in a container that can post to Slack or Discord and multiple channels. Yeah, that's it's not too hard. It's very similar. I do that too. I already have that. That's how I post to that. Oh, don't look at my desk. It's so messy right now, but it looks cool because I have the Boca going. But that Raspberry Pi right there, that's exactly what I do. So that Raspberry Pi has an endpoint that's just waiting for any one of my services to post a notification to it. So when something happens on Twitch or anywhere, I have like a notification service, and I say, okay, this happened on Twitch. Take that message, send it to my Raspberry Pi. Boom. Send it to Discord. Boom. If I want, send it to Twitter. Send it back in Twitch chat. And so I have created, a notification service internally for myself. I did exactly that. That is an endpoint where I can post a message in a body to, and then give it some query params like, yes, send a notification, send to my Raspberry Pi. Yes, send to Discord. Yes, send to all of my services. And then when I post to that, it will send it and do it. And then, obviously I have to format them in a different way to get them on Twitter, Twitch, Discord, everywhere. But yeah, exactly. It's not too hard. It's not too hard. It's pretty fun. I don't know what programming language you use. I did it in Node and Express. You just stand up a little endpoint that you can post to and have a message in there in the body. And then maybe have a list of services with keys. Maybe they're Booleans, and you say true, false, or whatever. And then you could send a message in that body, and then that will then end up sending it to all of the service. Pretty much your own notification microservice is what you're talking about. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. And if you're going to do that, I would recommend working backwards. Like first build it for Slack, and figure out what that means, and then build it for Discord and tack on Discord and keep tacking on multiple things. And once you have those posting fine, with embeds, if you want embeds, like there's so many ways you can go, then wrap that in a controller if you're going to use Express, and then it's a post endpoint, and then use Insomnia or some client, Postman, and post to it, or even curl and see if it works. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. That's it. I've built a lot of microservices in my environment right now to do all this stuff, even lights and stuff like that too. That's how I handle lights. But yeah, it's super fun. Mavney, hi. Hi? Question mark. Hey, how's it going? Let's see. Jenna Ryan says, I like free IPA for central auth. Yeah, that's a good solution too. Bing chilling. I'm working on a VPN travel router to connect my devices back to my homelab network when I'm out of the country. Yeah, I got you on this next one. Yeah, I've been working on that too, with the addition of also bringing part of your homelab with you if you want. It's fun, but it's a lot of work. It is for sure. And I won't lie. When I traveled, I brought my backup router with me just in case, because I was like, I need to solve 3 problems when I'm on the road, and if I don't solve these 3 problems, I'm not out of luck, but at the same time, it wouldn't be as fun as if I had my router. So let's see. Good day. That is, in my honest opinion, bad idea. It isn't a backup solution. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Yeah, it can be used for a backup solution, but I would never put secrets in there. You know what I mean? But I agree. I mean, yeah, if it's part of your infrastructure and you want to use it to one day deploy that thing, yeah, there's probably better ways to do it. But at the same time, I wouldn't put anything that has secrets in it. So, but yeah, that's a good point. It's not a backup system either. It's a good way to get things backed up, but is it a backup system? No. It will give you history and diffs, which is pretty awesome. DGD, I went through a list comparing a couple of options, and it seemed appealing to me. Now I get to figure out the workings of LDAP so I can add my users to groups or something and use that to control what they get access to from a central point. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at it too. I totally agree. Bill Mayer, backing up configs like etc is another thing. I totally agree. Debian 12 Bookworm was released today. Yeah, all right. I didn't know it was released today, but yeah, congrats to Debian Bookworm. Zoid, this weekend I'm learning about OpenSUSE Aeon, an immutable distro like Silverblue. Really liking it so far. Yeah, that's it seems to be the future with a lot of OSs going immutable. So pretty interesting, awesome concept. I think Ubuntu is going to have this option too. But awesome for OpenSUSE to have that as well. Mr. X-Men TV, I'm working on a stream-based alerts for a merge company I own. Awesome. Shopify, AWS, Eventbrite, Lambda, Dynamo, S3, etc. Awesome. That sounds awesome. So merge company, and you want stream-based alerts. Totally cool. I was just looking into this a little bit earlier today when fixing some of my alerts, and I saw, oh, cool. I can do ones for donations. I can do them for Extra Life, for charity stuff, and also merch too. So pretty cool. Yeah, very similar to what I was just talking about earlier about building your own notification service internally. Yes, same idea. You're gonna build out an endpoint, or you're gonna use Lambda. So serverless function that someone can post to. Obviously, you'll have to auth first, so you'll have some kind of access token probably built into that URL. Then, you're going to have, people who have authorized this thing, or maybe not, and you're going to render something, probably some text, so you'll have a CMS part where they actually create the alert, or maybe swap out text, or maybe swap out the image, and maybe attach a sound to it, and then you're going to host that as a web page somewhere so that people can add it as an OBS source on the stream. I think probably how I do it. Let's see. Bill Mayer, Apache DS can also be used as a Kerberos server. Not sure about HA though. Ooh, Kerberos at home. That is interesting. Outside of AD, but yeah, that sounds interesting for sure. That sounds interesting. Let's see. Takano, been debating whether I go Real-Link MVR and call it a day or self-hosted frigate. Like you said, Real-Link cams are RTSP and ONVIF compatible. Cool. So yeah, it's totally up to you. It's like how much effort do you want to put into it? You know, if you have Real-Link and you want to use Real-Link MVR, I mean, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, obviously you got to figure out where they store this data and how much data they collect, and if they collect data. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong, inherently wrong with using a product from a company that's not open source. But you might want to look into the privacy and stuff like that. And if that works for you and you're okay after you read and understand what data they're collecting, then that's a fine decision. And I think it's a decision that you'll have to make. It's the difference between like the easy button and the not so easy button. But yeah, I would recommend Frigate if you can and you have the time, just because it's super popular. I wish Frigate was out a while ago when I was into Blue Iris because I wanted mine to run in containers a long time ago. DGD, I'll write the suggestion down so I can take a closer look at it later. Awesome. Flowdash, writing all the Terraform for IAC infrastructure as code for my second location home lab. Awesome. Offsite home lab. All right. Remote home lab. That's just remote lab. That's just a data center. Okay. Remote location. My second location home lab. Your second home lab. Taking a long time, but it should be fun to spin up everything at once. Yeah, it does sound awesome, especially when you're getting infrastructure as code, when you're writing that with Terraform or whatever. And you have to bootstrap it, and you keep doing it over and over and over. It's fun. It definitely is fun. Fun and frustrating in the beginning. It's fun because you get to tear it down and do it again. Frustrating because sometimes you got to wait, on step 33, of 34, it fails. So you got to tear it down and do it again. And that's something you kind of kick off on the side and let it run. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun for sure. And it's cool that you're doing IAC for your remote location, your remote home lab location at home lab, second home. Awesome. You'll have to let me know, like, what are you using? You said you're using Terraform, but like, what are you actually terraforming? What are you standing up? It sounds awesome. Santa Carson, I have a question. I'm a 13-year. Oh yeah, I got to that one. Yeah, I think it's awesome. Bill Chillings, I've been running Amcrest cameras with Blue Iris. Yeah, for sure. I ran Blue Iris, I think, for about 10 years. It was awesome. It was awesome while it lasted. I'm a huge fan still. Hey, Kunefi. I'm going with Kunefi. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Let's see. Bill, figuring out doesn't depend on the software. Yeah, for sure. It does not depend on the software. Santa Carson, I started programming. This was Mr. Zen TV. I started programming at 7. Jeez, getting in early in IT. If you have any questions for IT, run with it. If you have a passion for IT, run with it. I definitely didn't have a home lab at that age, so that's amazing. I agree. I agree. 7 years old. What was I doing at 7 years old? Probably playing Nintendo and riding my bike. I'm dating myself, but yeah, most of it involves Nintendo, some version of the console, and riding my bike. Oh yeah, I wish I had the tech when I was younger. I wish I did. But then who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be doing this now. So I'm actually kind of glad how it turned out. I think. TBD, I guess. Awesome to hear. I totally agree. Let me find. Okay, guys. I'm exactly to the minute of where I started. I remember it was 3:21 because I was way over on getting stuff started, and I'm way over on right now. So exactly to the hour. So I want to keep true to what I said at the beginning. We're gonna run roughly an hour. I'm gonna do this. Random one. Thanks, Tim, for what you do. Had to reset my password to join here because I'm normally not a Twitch person, but glad to join you. Hey, thank you so much. Ackle Ferris, thank you so much. All right. Hey, all. Lots of comments. I do apologize that I wasn't able to get through them all. I thought for sure I could keep up. I was trying my best to keep up, and I do apologize if I didn't get to your comment. In the future, I hope to find a better way to surface comments that need some kind of attention. Maybe I won't even say AI, but maybe code can help. How about that? So I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate you being in here and chatting. There were lots of follows, lots of bits, lots of subs, lots of resubs. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. It was pretty awesome to have the hype train in the beginning too, so thank you so much. Also, I do apologize for, like I said, I was out for 2 weeks on a vacation. I apologize. I'll let you know ahead of time if that happens again. Not usually. I don't usually travel on Saturdays, so usually it's like a Friday to Friday, so I'll miss one. So, anyways, thank you so much for being here. If I didn't answer your question or you still want to ask me something, you absolutely can. You can do it in Discord. If you use !Discord, there should be a Discord invite that you can join. If not, just Google Techno Tim Discord and you'll see it. It's easy to find on Google, I think. If not, it's just discord.gg/technotim. Or go to technotim.live, but it's super easy to find. Just Google it. Or you can tag me on Twitter or whatever. Just don't feel bad if you're never bugging me. I have tuned my notifications to where I look at them when I'm available. So don't feel bad if you ping me. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the weekend. Hopefully you got some good weather coming. It's raining now here, which I love. I love rainy days. I love cool, rainy, cloudy days. And most people get down when it rains. I get excited because then I don't feel like I don't feel bad for not going outside. I think that's what it's rooted in. So anyways, I'll be in Discord a little bit later. If you have questions, ping me. Thank you so much for everything. So have a good rest of the weekend. Take care and be good to each other. Take care, folks.